Today on Nerd Hype, episode 3, all things Marvel.
Just because you nerds can't get enough of Marvel and Netflix, they just keep pumping out these series. Are some characters better suited for the small screen?
What do you want to see on the Defenders, and who do you want to see on the Defenders?
And lastly today, we're going to talk about David Gabriel, the head of marketing for Marvel, and his comments about diversity is killing the industry. I really don't think so.
All of that and Rocket and Groot will come to life next on Nerd Hype. So welcome back, everybody.
Episode 3.
Damn right. If you guys caught episode 2, is a very special Star Wars, May the 4th be with you episode. So if you want to jump back online and watch that first, you can. That was solely about Star Wars.
It was great.
So yeah, a lot of love there. We love what Disney's doing now. We love what George Lucas did before, except for 1, 2, and 3. Mm-hmm. That being said, everybody knows that these shows are amazing, and they talk about them, except for the last one. But Netflix and Marvel, their continued success with the shows that they're processing from all their different comic books that Marvel has to offer. What do you think has made it so popular? What do you think has made it to the point where people are watching all the time and talking about it?
Oh, I think with a movie, you only have 2.5 hours to show an insight into a character, and to make a series devoted to a character and their part in the larger world, I think that has made it very successful because you get an in-depth look at some of these characters that are very deep. Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, deep characters that in the past really didn't get a lot of attention and
that's very true.
That hype, and now it's like people being introduced to them, and people just want more of that Marvel universe. Like any reference to the incident in the Marvel in the Netflix series gets people hyped. Yeah. Which I want to make a comment about. Why is this guy selling DVDs about something that happened 7 years ago? This guy's on the street. I got that incident, bro. It's like $5. He's selling on the street. I mean, it happened 6-7 years ago. I mean,
that's
it's
true.
Still hot. You really selling bootlegs on the street? It's still hot.
Yo, you could pick up a T-shirt for 9/11, and you were in the Bronx, 3rd Avenue. Shout out Fordham Road. Y'all got some 9/11 T-shirts every time 9/11 rolls around. So maybe it's a stretch. You're right. Maybe it's a stretch, but at the same time, though, I think it's they're doing something here that most people aren't doing, and they're not only are they tying in the movies, but they're keeping it so separate that you don't feel offended by it. No. You don't feel offended that you're like, wait a second, how come I don't see Tony Stark's flying through New York with Spider-Man?
Which was one of the biggest complaints with Civil War. Where the hell was everybody?
Right.
When S.H.I.E.L.D. is literally collapsing, everybody else is gone. But that we miraculously all show up for Ultron. But yeah, it doesn't feel that way at all. There were parts where I was like, hey, maybe they missed a mark to kind of tie it all together.
I wish.
More. I don't mean to spoil anything for anyone, but
hold on. What show are you talking about?
So I'm talking about Jessica Jones. So this has been out a while.
That's been out a while.
For most of the most part, people have
seen it. If you have not watched it yet, then turn this off and go do your damn homework. Because at this point, I'm mad at you. Go ahead.
But there's a part with Jessica, after the Purple Man is dead, and they're bringing, looks like they're gonna try and put her on trial for that, right? I was like, that would have been a great portion to just introduce Matt Murdock as her lawyer.
You're right. Yeah, I think that was too early in the game for them to. Well, I take that back. Let me take that back real quick. Specifically, what Marvel does in the Marvel universe and the TV universe, I think it's pretty much planned out years ahead. We're talking about 5, 6 to 10 years ahead. That being said, though, you're right. That would have been a nice touch. I think it also would have been a nice touch if in Luke Cage, and if you haven't watched that yet, please go home, watch it. You're stupid. When Luke went to jail, Matt should have been there too.
Yeah.
Matt should have, Rosario should have been I know a dude. Night nurse, and then all of a sudden, Matt's there, I got your back, bro. That's what we're gonna do. Because you kind of saw that a little bit in Daredevil with Punisher, and that whole. Then you saw Kingpin in the prison.
Yeah.
You saw Fisk, so you saw those tie in, and I like that. I think they kind of realized that going into that Daredevil season 2, that's where they kind of jumped on and said, you know what, let's start tying up the
sense. Because I think it's gonna be kind of strange that they're gonna lead right into the Defenders.
Yeah, they're just hanging out.
They don't have any interaction. They don't even make really any reference beside Rosario Dawson's character about being
Claire is the only
other people out there with abilities and that they make really no reference to them. Like,
right. Well, for those of you out there yelling at home, I know. Calm down. Claire is the tying bind.
I know she is
in the
but
Marvel universe.
I mean, like,
she's a main character that most people don't give credit for being a main character.
My one critique of Luke Cage was that this guy, like, he disappears from Jessica's life after Jessica Jones. He's literally uptown. Like, he's in the news, and
but
she's like,
but hold on,
like,
Joe. You know for a fact that in those worlds, going from Hell's Kitchen, Midtown, 54th and 11th Avenue, all the way to 125th, 126th.
Might as well jump across the country.
Dude, bro, that's like going from California to New York. Straight up. Like, that's too... People from Midtown don't go to Harlem like, I'm going to hang out. I'm going to hang out on 125th and Lenox.
That's not my scene.
Exactly.
I got you.
The same way the people on 125th and Lenox go to Midtown and all of a sudden Dorman are like, what are you doing here? I'm going to call the cops. Get out of here.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Two different worlds.
All right. So let me ask you, do you think, like, what makes it about these characters that made them better suited for the small screen versus getting a full feature movie?
I think when you look at the storylines and you look at the familiarity of people, even the basic comic book reader, it takes a lot for a comic book reader to pick up Daredevil. Okay? He wasn't a major. He never was. I mean, there's been variations where he's been on one portion of another, the Avengers helping, whatever.
It's like a minor major.
Right, exactly. So you look at the characters, none of the characters that got these shows have been real, like, upstanding, in-your-face Avengers. Okay? Mm-hmm. They could have definitely done this with Hawkeye. Definitely done this with Hawkeye.
Yeah.
But he's an Avenger. And people forget, he started the West Coast Avengers. Mm-hmm. He has those things under his belt. I think when he looked at it, he said, which characters here? Now, for me personally, and we talked about this before off camera, in our personal lives, I feel like they missed a really big valid point with the Civil War storyline and how pertinent that was between Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. Mm-hmm. I'm not spoiling shit for anybody out there. So if you watch this and you start complaining, screw you. In this comic book Civil War, the original Civil War storyline, not Civil War 2, not the one with Miss Marvel now, Jessica Jones and Luke Cage have a child. Mm-hmm. Well, you have two people. One's indestructible and one has superpowers. They have a baby together. And literally at this point, Iron Man wants them, not only both of them to sign onto, the Mutant Registration Act, but he also wants the baby to be, like, in the system as well.
Yeah.
And that becomes a big deal.
People have this idea because you have the movies and you have the TV shows you can't work them together. They just kind of reference, they work off one another. Right. But really, the TV shows work off of the movies because movies make no reference to the TV show at all.
And even going outside of Netflix, if you go to ABC and you go to Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., then you got Cloak and Dagger coming out Freeform. Yeah. You got Moon Knight that's supposed to be green lit, hasn't started anything yet. You're seeing they're trying to tie it all together. I want to see what the Russo brothers do. I want to see if they actually make the claim of 76 characters in Infinity Gauntlet. Mm-hmm. I want to see that.
I mean, then you just pull from the TV show. Then
exactly. Like, give me.
That's what I want to see. Like, like I want to see. Give me Robert Downey Jr. one episode, please. Like, just to show up in there. Something
not
like
even
that.
Just give me Avengers and give me Robert turn to the rest of the Avengers and say, I know some peoples. Yeah. Like, I know some peoples. Like, I know somebody. Yeah. Like, on that joke, and they run over, and all of a sudden he comes back, and it's like the Defenders. And we already know Doc Strange is going to be crossing over in the movie side of the house, but people don't know. Doc Strange is pertinent to the Defenders timeline. Yeah. He started the Defenders in the comic book. Give me that. At least give me, like, all of a sudden Doc Strange knows Matt walk down the street. Yeah, I noticed we know some things. Me and Tony was talking. Ant-Man. Me and Tony was talking. Yeah, I like to see that.
All right. Yeah. Well, next, we're going to talk about, like, what other characters are suited for the small screen versus the big screen.
Because there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot, but we're going to pick a couple that are the best.
Stay tuned.
Okay, so you have Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. from back in the day before all Netflix family, Legion, now on FX, which just finished her first season, and greenlit Cloak and Dagger, and in the works Moon Knight.
Don't forget Agent Carter.
And rest in peace. Shout out, rest in peace, Agent Carter. We love you, Agent Carter. Miss you, girl. All right, so who else do you think is suited?
So this character, like, I was looking through it, and he already had a TV series. It wasn't good, but I think it needs to be revisited. And mine is Blade. So for me,
I agree.
For me, Blade, like, as much as I love Wesley Snipes, right? He ain't coming back. Like, he's not gonna come back.
You don't know that.
I think there's too much going on with Wesley Snipes for now the people at Disney to be like, I trust you with a movie.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Plus he's getting up there in age. So I mean, how much longer could he be doing the character? And it's time you gotta change over. And I think we're moving towards the time with the movies where they're gonna be going to a changeover, change of the guard, right? So with that being said, I think a TV series for Blade, which they tried in 2006. Wasn't very eventful. It was also at a time where TV was flooded and movies were flooded with just vampire crap.
Yeah.
Right?
Vampire Diaries, Breaking Dawn, all that crap.
Bad Blood. Was it True Blood?
True Blood.
Right? So just like that was a time with Twilight, the movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it was just a bunch. Like people were getting flooded with it, and I think they got this like just a bad taste in their mouth. So it got even worse reception.
Yeah.
Now there's barely anything touching it because I think people feel that way. Like it's still too soon that they can go and re-look into the whole vampire thing. Mm-hmm. I think for a TV series, if you could do that for Blade, where he's really he's dealing with the vampires and what's that guy he works with?
Oh, now you're gonna ask me that. I'm blank.
Oh my God.
I know what you're talking about.
We look like posers right now.
We do look like posers. But I've been drinking. That's my excuse.
That being said, I think like you can create a real great dynamic there, and I think it's suited for TV versus a movie. As good as the movies were, that's not something I believe they're gonna go with Disney. They're not something they can produce. They just go with their feel, their vibe. I think it's like that's suited more for a Netflix. It can be dark, it can be gritty.
Yeah, you definitely can.
And I think that's more the route they can go with that.
Michael B. Jordan. He needs to make it up for Fantastic Four. I mean, I love that kid, but shit, he has to make it up. I see him. He can, because of Creed, I see his body.
Yeah, maybe.
I see his body for that. Okay.
What about you?
Me personally, this is going to be totally outside the realm of a lot of people's knowledge.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was Whistler. Whistler is his name.
There you go.
Not Posers. I didn't look that up.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So this is outside the realm of what a lot of people know, but you should know it because you saw him in a movie with this guy. So everybody knows that you saw Deadpool, you saw Colossus. We all met Colossus.
Mm-hmm.
In the, I don't want to say physical form because it was CGI, but in the physical CGI form and the movies. I think his sister, Ilyana Rasputin, a.k.a. Magic. This is why. We've already had the magic world open up.
This is the second time you've referenced this character.
I know. I love Magic, man. Listen, as a kid, it was amazing because she was a rebel, and I wanted to be a rebel when I was a kid. But she has magic. She's been on a couple of different groups, Hellions, I believe Starfire Club. She's fought alongside her brother with the with the X-Men. So Fox has this weird thing now where they have Legion. I think this would be a great addition. Not only do you have the strongest mutant, but you have the strongest magical mutant. And it ties into Colossus, and it ties into Deadpool, and it ties into X-Men.
And it ties into Doctor Strange.
Yeah, exactly.
That magical realm, I get that.
Exactly. They could take that little piece of what people are feeding on for Doctor Strange. So I think that, Magic, she's great, man. She has the Soul Sword, and it's amazing. All right, so we're going to talk about the Defenders.
No! Hype in 60 seconds!
Oh, shit. Okay.
60 seconds, new format. What's got you hype in the world of nerddom? Timer starts now.
All right. So, Secret Wars. Ladies and gentlemen, let me explain the situation to you real quick. If you know anything about the comics, Secret Wars is one of the best storylines because it combines everyone from the Marvel Universe in one location at one time for 8 issues. Amazing. This is the original Secret Wars, not the new crap. I don't like it. That being said, FX, Fox, Sony, Marvel, Disney, I don't care. Anybody else that has a fucking signed something from Marvel, get it done. This is the amazing that you can have everyone in here. Spider-Man, Hulk, all the Avengers, the X-Men. You can have every character in here, explain it all, they all got pulled by the mystical force to an off-world planet to fight to the death and figure out who's the greatest superhero of all time. Do it! There's no way you shouldn't do this. You all can make money off this. Make it 3 hours. I will sit down on my ass and watch it happily. I'll pay twice to watch this because you have the storylines now. You have the characters created. This can be done.
You cut off. He's done. He's done.
There you go. That's my hype in 60 seconds. Who do you want to see from the Defenders? Who do you feel is like best suited to be with the Defenders in the Defenders show and also be the villains against the Defenders in the Defenders show?
So this Defenders that they put together is strictly for the show.
Yeah,
like they have no tie-in to what the Defenders were historically as a team. They were usually made up of real like A-list,
of course,
superheroes.
We talked about this.
Hulk,
Doc Strange.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know really where they could go. I mean, I've looked into it and kind of see maybe like who they can bring historically into that. Mm-hmm. I'm not really sure. I do know what I want to see going forward from what I already know.
What's that?
The direction they're going. So from what they've already told us is that this Defenders first season is going to be about the Hand.
Right.
And it's going to be heavily influenced by the Hand. And
right, which has been leading up from all the different shows.
Yeah. So them trying to take them down.
Right.
What I want to see is there is a story within the Defenders where Kingpin almost becomes the head of the Hand. And that's me selfishly wanting to see more of the Kingpin. I think he's great. I think from what I've seen I think across all of the Marvel shows so far on Netflix, the villain stole the show.
Well, that's Vincent D'Onofrio. I mean, we're talking about that's an Academy Award nominated actor. So I think when you look at the group that you have on the show, I feel like is he gonna steal it? Yeah, but so is John Bernthal.
Yeah.
I mean, he stole it when he was in Daredevil season 2.
Yeah.
People were more fascinated by him than they were with. I heard so much about Daredevil's doing the same thing again. The hallway fight scene from season 1 was the staircase fight scene in season 2, which I'm like, think about that for a second. They broke it down. There was only 8 motherfuckers in that whole fight scene that fought Daredevil. They literally fell down, landed on the mats, and then went back up the steps.
Yeah.
And like changed like one costume, took a vest off, put a mask on, put sunglasses on, whatever. So I'm like, that's pretty intense, man. So to shoot that continuously.
Yeah. So what I want to see is them play out that story. Right. And from what I know is like they look towards him as a leader, and he sees it as a way to get back his crime empire.
Oh yeah, of course.
Right. At the same time, the route that story goes is that Daredevil stops it and takes over the Hand. He goes into that and has something to do with bringing back Electro, which we know they're already going that direction.
Well, they already went that direction. Yeah, we saw that at the end of season 2, so we saw that.
Yeah.
If nobody thinks that Electro's not coming back, please, I want you to go back and rewatch all the episodes. Then don't just watch the last one, because if you didn't understand that, like they're bringing her back.
So what about you? What do you want to see from the Defenders?
I think I want to see. I kind of want to see a little bit more inclusion in the Marvel universe, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We had a Marvel character from Asgard come in on the show. We had Nick Fury on the show, one episode. Why can't we not touch upon that in the Netflix universe? I'd like to see that. That's it. For me personally, I want to see more inclusion in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I want to see them get ready to, so I hopefully see them in the next Avengers movie.
So now, we're going to talk about David Gabriel, right? David Gabriel is Marvel's Senior Vice President of Marketing and Sales, and he made some comments about diversity in Marvel, and why he believes...
Brown-skinned man.
and why...
And women.
And why he believes it has led to a decline in sales. So this came from their retail summit, and they asked him flat out, like, why do you think you're posting losses in your comic book division right now?
This is horrible, because this is a bunch of people in suits talking about this shit that don't even probably pick up a fucking comic book in their whole life. Okay.
So excuse me, I'm not going to be looking at the camera. I'm going to read you exactly quote for quote what he said.
That's right, read it.
So what we heard was that people didn't want any more diversity. They didn't want female characters out there. That's what we heard, whether we believe that or not. I don't know that that's really true, but that's what we saw in the sales. We saw the sales of any character that was diverse, any character that was new, or female characters, anything that was not a core Marvel character, people were turning their nose up against it. That was difficult for us because we had a lot of fresh, new, exciting ideas that we were trying to get out, and nothing new really worked. And the shit hit the fan.
I'm gonna tell you what makes it worse than anything else. Over the fact of what he said is being the spineless man that he is, to defer to what people think is what they want instead of giving people what they need. You have a voice now. You're creating movies. You're creating content online, in social media, and also in print. You have the ability to establish a status quo. And for you to fucking tuck your dick behind your fucking butt cheeks.
That was a really
I'm just saying.
It was a great visual.
Because this is exactly what he's doing for people that are saying, well, what's the financial bottom line, David? Fuck that. You know what? There was no financial bottom line when this shit started. People were hiding their names. Stan Lee hid his fucking name. He didn't want people to know who he was. He would tell people he was a writer. People would say, oh, I want to read your work. And he'd walk away from the conversation because it was such a taboo circumstance. Now everybody's all like, what's the bottom line? What's the silver lining? What's the dollar amount? What's the dollar figure? Fuck that. This is falling apart at the seams when it comes to that level. And that's why we're in the trap now where since Fox owns Fantastic Four, Marvel said, fuck that, Fantastic Four is dead. See, that's the type of shit that happens right there. If I can't make $1 off of you, I'm killing everything.
Well, that's where they're wrong because they're making a lot of dollars off of this, right? Yeah. So my point of view, right, when he says that, is what he's saying is if my character is not a white male, people will not read it.
Or white female, technically.
Or he spoke about the female characters, and that's not sticking on either. He believes that whether it's a female character, someone of color, or anything like that, they're not going to be able to sell it.
I'd like to see.
That's not true.
I'd like to see the sale numbers between Thor, the female Thor, and Miss Marvel.
So let's talk about
and the Muslim Miss Marvel. Just so y'all don't get it twisted, that's who he's talking about. He's not talking about the blonde head, shaved one side of her head, Miss Marvel chilling. He's talking about the Muslim girl who got the powers and didn't
Captain
want.
Marvel.
Well, Miss Marvel. It's actually Miss Marvel in the graphic novel. If you look at it and in the comics, she's Miss Marvel because she is a girl. We're gonna
get preachy now. But what does he not realize that you have sold rights, right? So Netflix is producing shows right now. The whole thing is diversity.
Oh yeah.
The entire thing is diversity.
Hell yeah,
you have Luke Cage, who is a black man. Yeah. You have Jessica Jones, a woman, right?
Yes.
You have a blind man, a handicapped man.
You got the whole handicapped community in your court now.
Yes. So diversity stretches beyond creed and color.
And don't forget,
it's representing people that are not represented for the most part.
Shout out to Foggy because you got the fat community in there too.
He's chubby. He's
not. I'm fat boy life, and I'll say it till I die. He roll with me. We eat a little bit too much at the dinner table. That's what I'm saying. But that being said, though,
you have Elektra,
who's Greek.
Yeah,
Greek. You know, and then you have the Hand, a whole Asian clan of people.
Yeah.
Who are there from Kunlun. You know, you have all that. Granted, Danny Rand is white. Listen, Danny Rand was white in the comic books too, people. Sorry to burst your bubble. He's a white boy.
It wasn't whitewashed.
Yeah, it wasn't whitewashed. He was white. Like, what do you want? You want, you know, there were other actors of prominent Asian descent in that show. You can't have it your way and say, well, I want it my way, but I want it the way Marvel did. You can't have both. You gotta choose a side.
So I mean, they're saying this, but it seems like some of the biggest things that have come out in the last few years have involved new characters.
Yes.
That are diverse.
Yes.
Spider-Gwen is like this freaking phenomenon.
Oh my god.
Every girl that thinks she reads a comic book buys a Spider-Gwen shirt.
The hoodies. Shout outs to We Love Fine.
And those hoodies are fire. I wish I could pull it off.
Shout out to We Love Fine, because We Love Fine ran with this. We Love Fine, if nobody knows who that is, if you're not up on it, go to WeLoveFine.com. They're a clothing store, and they ran with the Spider-Gwen. They got Spider-Gwen leggings for females, Spider-Gwen hoodies, Spider-Gwen baseball caps, beanies, the whole nine. Like, they run with this shit, and they make good quality product. So We Love Fine. We'll take your sponsorship anytime. That being said, though, that is something. We went to Comic-Con. We went to Comic-Con 2000. I want to say it was 2015 or 2016. I can't remember which one. In New York Comic-Con, guys were selling Spider-Gwen #1s, first prints. They were like fucking like $25, $30. That was ridiculous. I was like, yo, I didn't pick that up. I want to pick it up now. I couldn't afford to pick it up. So you're telling me that that's not popular if it's selling out?
Yeah.
Numbers. I mean, Marvel pushes volume. I have a very good friend that works at a comic book store in Riverdale in the Bronx. Shout out to Magnum Comics. He has boxes every Tuesday before the Wednesday release, and he has a very small shop. He has boxes piled up, DC boxes with like, he orders 10,000 copies of this, 5,000 copies of this. They push out a lot of volume. This is one comic book store in the Bronx. I know Midtown gets buku amounts because they get hit all the time. So you're gonna tell me that if you push out that volume is selling. All of a sudden, well, it's the women, it's the minorities, it's not selling for us.
Miles Morales.
I saw the same shit.
Another Spider-Man mixed Spider-Man.
Comic-Con 2012, New York Comic-Con 2012. I've witnessed the first ever thing that I ever saw of white racism against comic books. A man stood up at the Miles Morales panel and went off in the audience talking about, why isn't my Spider-Man white? His exact words, why isn't my Spider-Man white?
Because it's not your Spider-Man. It's not. And
it killed me.
And the last thing is, maybe, David, if you looked at the material you were putting out, maybe it has less to do with the character and it has more to do with the story.
Yeah, I think
you know what, like,
this is backlash from what happened recently. I don't know if you're familiar with the story that happened recently with the comic. I can't remember off the top of my head. There was a comic book writer who actually put in some Muslim references, some Quran references specifically in a comic book, and made it very anti-Jew, and anti-Palestine, anti-Israel. I don't remember. I'm sorry, but Marvel then, I think, got their panties in a bunch and got scared and said, "Oh, you know what? This isn't selling. Diversity isn't selling." I mean, come on, man. I'll be honest with you. I had not read a Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel. I had not read a Miss Marvel comic book for years. And when Kamala came out, I was down, yo. It was such a different, fresh take.
It's different. It's different.
Yeah,
it's a different life.
She's Muslim. She doesn't really want to be Muslim. A Muslim woman covered all the time. She wants to have a social life, and she gets these powers. For me personally, I felt this so fucking refreshing. Maybe it's because I'm Puerto Rican. Who knows? Marvel, by the way, no Puerto Rican fucking superheroes. Thank you, Edgardo, for making La Borinqueña. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. That's on an independent. If you guys want to get it, I'll put a link up in the YouTube video. But yeah, La Borinqueña.
Let's give a shout out America Chavez.
Shout out to America Chavez.
Puerto Rican.
That's Marvel.
Superhero.
Right. that's Marvel, and I respect that. I respect that.
That's the only way they're gonna know that this isn't BS. You want to see these people in there. You want to see yourself represented.
Definitely.
Right.
So we had a lot of fun talking about Marvel today. There's so much more we could talk about. Wish you could. We don't want to bore you. We want to keep you interested. We want to keep you happy.
And keep tuning in. Thank you for showing up tonight.
Yeah. So live the nerd life
and get nerd hype. Until next time.